Now we turn our attention to the legendary Los Angeles real estate mogul, a player in Los Angeles politics, Rick Caruso. Rick, you built the Grove. You built the Americana in Glendale. These are the Commons in Calabasas, the Promenade in Westlake, Pacific Village in the Palisades, Rosewood Miramar in Montecito. These are some really Class A real estate projects. And you know what I noticed? Your name is not attached to any of those, unlike another real estate developer who went on to be very successful in politics. How come you never put your name on it? Why isn't it Caruso Village?
Yeah, Carusoville. Well, I'm sorry my audio went out, but thanks for having me on, Billy. It's fun to be here, and I appreciate the invitation. Listen, we're very different people, both in our personal lives and our professional lives, and we handle business a bit differently. But I've had the great fortune of building some incredible properties, and I've got the most amazing team. So it's fun to do, and
Rick,
we've got a lot more planned.
while we mentioned him there for a second, but there's a bit of fear. I noticed a lot of people sort of caving, and business people caving, and a little worried about retaliation from Trump if they don't do certain things. Do you ever, are you worried at all that anything you say, he might come down on you with some sort of regulatory bullshit that could really get you in trouble?
I don't give it a second thought. No, listen, I think you got to go live your life and do what's right. And I'm not into bullies or people kicking sand at each other in the sandbox. We keep our heads down. We like to build great projects, get back to the community. The rest of that stuff, I don't have the time for, and I don't know the man.
Never met him?
I met him once briefly.
When he
Just
came
once
to
briefly.
town, and we went to Fire Station 69, which is just
Yeah,
down from in the Palisades. He
yeah.
visited there. He was brutal to Karen. He was beating up Karen at that point. That couldn't have bothered you too much. But were you in that visit to the Palisades? Did you talk to him?
I did not. I was not out there for that. But I will tell you this, which I said publicly. I'm grateful that he came out. I'm grateful that he was pushing the mayor and pushing other people to move faster. And frankly, I'd wish he'd come back out again and push him some more because we're not moving as fast as we should. So I think he can add a lot of value. You can't turn your back on the White House. And we certainly shouldn't be in the city or the state because we need their help. We need the funding and we need their resources to get these communities rebuilt.
Yeah, and you say we're not moving quickly. I mean, look, and everybody has an interest here, whether you live in Los Angeles or not. Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States from the largest state in the United States. It is incredibly vital, and everybody in this country watched as Los Angeles burned. I mean,
Right.
it's probably even more. It's like, wow, Los Angeles, that's where Hollywood and all these places are, and literally watching it burn on TV. I don't think people will ever forget some of those unbelievably searing images, even if you live in Dubuque. But we are moving very, very slowly. And one thing you've done, you've got this project, you have launched something called Steadfast L.A. And if you just log on to it, folks, it's Steadfast L.A. exists to accelerate the rebuilding of Los Angeles by cutting through bureaucracy, mobilizing the expertise of the private sector, which Rick has tons of experience in, and delivering real solutions with urgency and efficiency. It seems to me you lost this mayor, the race for mayor, to Karen Bass, who failed pathetically during the fires and in the aftermath. It seems to me like Steadfast LA is you saying, okay, I may have lost the mayoral election, but I'm just going to be mayor anyway. This is exactly what a good mayor would do, is launch something that involves the private sector, takes the best of the best from wherever you can get it, put it together,
Right.
and work together and get it done for people.
You got it. You just said it perfectly.
You are the mayor. You didn't lose.
No, I'm not the mayor. I'm not. I'm
No,
not
yeah,
the mayor.
basically you
I'm
are.
not agreeing with that. But let me tell you, Billy, you know this so well because you would never tolerate this. Could you imagine? And I hope nobody ever forgets those images because those images were so horrific. But equally horrific was the failure of leadership at so many different levels. The level of incompetence was terrible. And so many people are paying an incredibly dear price for what happened.
Tell
And
people how slowly.
we got to be more demanding. We got to hold people accountable. We got to work hard. We got to lean in, but we have got to force things to happen. And then I'll shut up for a second. But my philosophy was Steadfast. It's a nonprofit. And I've told my team, we have an incredible full-time team that's working on this and a whole bunch of people who are donating their time and their talent, the best of the best. Just like you said, you reach out, pull the best together. But my attitude is we're going to walk with an elected official, we will walk around an elected official, or we're going to walk through an elected official. But we are moving and we are going and we're going to rebuild these damn communities and we're going to do it quickly and safely because government alone is not doing it.
Look, it's been 4.5 months almost, and how slowly is it going? I mean, I think I heard something from you the other day that was like 35 building permits have been approved or something in that period of time. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe it or not, I think we're up to 50. It's an embarrassment. And what our mayor goes around saying is it's the fastest recovery ever. You don't compare your work to failure. If she's comparing it to other fire areas, they all have failed. Most of them haven't even started reconstruction, like in Maui. So you're taking credit for being better than a massive failure. The test is how many people have you gotten back into their homes? How many building permits have you had? How many businesses have you reopened? How many jobs have you recreated? Right? Have you controlled the traffic, the logistics? Have you kept it safe? And there's no transparency on what's going on. And people are frustrated, and rightfully so. But we've got a group of people, and we're going to work really hard. And we're going to push this thing. And in Altadena and Palisades and Malibu is devastated too.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do everything we can to get people back in their homes or get under construction.
You ran for mayor in 2022. What did that experience teach you? I mean, you outspent Karen Bass tremendously, but were you in an unwinnable race? Is it are we entrenched in a certain way in a big, deep blue city like Los Angeles that no matter what, you've got a lot of money you put into it, and you got a guy who's very smart. I mean, you know the ins and outs of regulatory in this city like nobody. I mean, you sat on the top of the commission for L.A. the police department. You know, the guy that knows where the pipes are all connected, the bones of this city and how it operates, happens to be one of the most successful business people. Like, if that can't win, are we entrenched in a way that is just irreversible?
I hope not, Billy. I really hope not, because the city's heading in the wrong direction. We all know that. And the recent polling that we've seen have said that residents believe 70% of the residents that we're heading in the right direction and that Karen Bass is failing. But we do have a very entrenched far left in the city, and that's fine. But what we really need to do is make sure people get out and vote, because I believe, especially after the fires, that people have realized job competency is really important. Common sense is really important. Let's not elect people from an ideology standpoint. Let's elect people because they're competent, have common sense, and can bring people together and move us forward in the right direction. And so, listen, I lost the election. I mean, I accepted that loss. I worked my tail off to try to win. I wanted to be out there and do some good things. But, the timing wasn't right, and for whatever reason. I do hope that more people get involved in this city to move the city forward, though. Otherwise, we're going to keep going down the wrong path.
Is there anything that is going well, like debris removal? There's so much debris. If you look at the overhead shots of Palisades or Altadena, getting all that out of there, and where does that stuff go?
So I will tell you, I think the Army Corps deserves a high five. They've been working their tail off in Altadena, Malibu, and Palisades. They're ahead of schedule, and they're doing a great job. I met with the Secretary of the Army, a recent appointee, very impressive young guy. Met with the generals out there. Our team works closely with them. And so I think they're going to be done months ahead of schedule. Now, here's the challenge, Billy, is not everybody opted in to have their lots cleaned by the Army Corps. So what the mayor and what the county supervisors need to do is right now be encouraging everybody. If you're going to have a private contractor, get them in there now. Let's get cleaned up now and start enforcing that, because what we don't want to have happen is cleanup just lingering on for months and months and months. Now we want to get people starting to rebuild their homes, schools rebuilt, parks rebuilt. We've announced the rebuilding of Palisades Park and raising all the money to do that. I'm having lunch with the leaders of the school district. We want to get the schools reopened, Altadena and in Los Angeles, and the private schools. Get a sense of community again. And then we're going to be reopening our village in the Palisades.
Is that what you do? So if you're rebuilding Altadena or you're rebuilding Palisades, is it about like, you know, the schools and the municipalities and all the things that we share as a community? You start there and then you get to the homes that are around and build them next?
You got to do it all at once. I'm a big believer that you don't do this from a sequencing standpoint. It's so massive. 700,000 acres has been burnt. And you need a massive logistics plan on how to organize all of this, to get the trucks in and out, to get people in and out. But there's sections of the Palisades, for example, that didn't burn. 70% of the lower Huntington didn't burn. That means you've got to have a plan to deal with people living there.
Right.
While there's construction going on. It all has to be done at once.
Oh my God.
I do think you need the community centers, the parks, the schools to come back, to give people a place to reconnect with their family and friends. But our government, it's really failing us, and too much red tape. And it's a bunch of bullshit that they're saying they've cut all the red tape, because they just haven't. And it's very difficult for people to pull permits in the county and in the city.
So let's say you are mayor. If you were mayor, like, what would you do right now or in that immediate aftermath? How do you cut the red tape? The red tape's been there forever and it's so much bureaucracy, but how do you just do it? Can you just look at Trump? Look at what Trump's doing. Sorry, but I mean, as president of the United States, some people think it's an overreach, and in many cases it is, but you know, he doesn't care. He fired all the solicitor generals that oversee every federal department. You could go in as mayor and say, you know what? You ombudsman for the whatever department, you're out of here. You don't do anything. Goodbye, and take it over. Is a little bit of that, needed?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You've got to hold these department heads accountable. You give them the direction and you hold them accountable. And if they can't get it done, you have to fire them. We've got the lady who heads up Department of Water and Power is still holding her job. She was the one that drained the reservoir. There was 6 million gallons of water missing the night of the fire.
Yeah, it makes a nice salary too. She gets like $400 large a year or something.
No, she gets $750, Billy.
$750?
And now she's got a security detail around her.
Well, I mean.
Okay, I know.
Yeah. But that's an incredible, and she's the one who she drained the reservoir when they needed water the most. They went, it was
Billy,
empty.
Ask yourself a question.
I will.
Who have you heard that said, you know what, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, I'm going to go fix it? Where's the report that said this is how it happened? And we'll make sure it never happens again. We don't even have that yet. So there's zero accountability. And that's what we've got to change in the city.
So, Rick, look, I voted. I would, if I could have stuffed the ballot box for you for mayor, I would have. But because I'm a great citizen, and everyone would say that of not just the country but the city, I only cast one vote. What do you do? To me, everyone I speak to, and I think most people feel like, God, we really screwed that up. But you basically won that, because it's such a disaster that I would. You now have a choice to make about politics or just stay in business. I think you are a man who wants to live his life on the second mountain. You have climbed the first mountain, and you have had great success. I think you genuinely want to help people and bring success to others. So I believe a life in politics is coming your way. You're going to go again, and something tells me it's going to be governor of California. I think effectively you already won the mayorship.
Well, I do like giving back to people, and I do like having a higher purpose in life. And I've been very fortunate and blessed in life.
Can you move the governor's mansion back to L.A. so you can stay here? Because we like to have you around. But would you be able to move? Do you have to live in Sacktown is the question.
Well, listen, I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, Billy, so I haven't thought about housing
I've
yet.
decided for you, Rick. You're going to run. You're going to run, and by the way, you're going to have you. Rick wears the same shades as Joe Biden. They both go to the same sunglasses guy, but you look absolutely crisp, very tan, perfect in the
You're
sunglasses.
funny.
I think you got to do it. When do you make that decision about a political run? It's right around the corner. You can't wait too long.
Yeah, it's after summer. I've got till after summer, and a lot to think about. But I feel really lucky that I even get to think about it. How about that? And I'm grateful for that. But I want to do something. Whatever I do, I want to do something I could truly make a difference. I'm not looking for a career change, and I got an incredible life, and I just want to get back, change the trajectory a bit, give people more opportunity in life, be able to create more jobs, clean up. We've got terrible problems with the homeless and with crime and encampments around our beautiful city and all of that. All of that can be fixed. And that's what frustrates me. And frankly, that's
How
the
do you
other thing
fix
that
homelessness,
motivates me.
Rick? How do
Just
you
get it
fix
done?
How do you fix homelessness? It's just, you can't just do you. I think it's the biggest problem that we face in Los Angeles, and many other cities face this problem too. But you can't just like pick up people and take them to the desert and be like, "Good luck." You can't. I mean, what do you do? You can
build housing. Build housing. I had a plan when I ran for mayor. You've got to build housing. The city of Miami, I was with the mayor of Miami. They are going to be down to 0 homeless in Miami.
Wow.
I just walked around the city of Pittsburgh. I was back there for business last week. Not one encampment that I saw in downtown Pittsburgh. How could that be? And in Los Angeles, it's everywhere. We have had this terrible ideology of housing first. And that what they did is to attack people is if you want to get somebody off the street, they would say, you're criminalizing being homeless. No, you're not. We want to help people get off the streets. We want to give them the services they need for mental health care, for drug addiction. But you've got to have an apartment for them. You've got to have a place for them. We have built no housing in the city of Los Angeles. We've been an absolute failure in that regard and wasted billions of dollars. So if you want to know how to screw it up, go study the way L.A. City and L.A. County has done it. If you want to know how to fix it, there are hundreds of cities around the world that have tackled this problem with great success. Well, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, you know how to build
it. It does require a backbone and a brain that you put to good use.
So if Kamala, they say Kamala Harris may run for governor, would you welcome that?
No,
not
at all.
Wouldn't you like to run against her?
I don't worry about running against her. It's just I don't think she's the right person for the state of California, period. Well, she could be a good person. I know her husband, but she's not the leader that the state of California needs by any stretch of the imagination, in my opinion.
There's so much talk right now about what happened this last time around when Joe Biden finally handed the torch to Kamala, and at that point, but so many people. The book comes out, Original Sin, tomorrow, that Jake Tapper from CNN wrote with the guy from Axios, and it's all about accountability. It's all about cover up and things like that. Do you have an opinion on that? Because they really screwed themselves and they still haven't taken full accountability for that. And you're a man who talks about accountability a lot.
Yeah, listen, I was very vocal about that. There should have been an open primary to fill Joe Biden's seat. I was very open that he needed to step down and let the next generation take off. I feel that way about a lot of these elected officials that have been in office way too long. That was never the intent of the framers of our Constitution. It was all about people going in, serving their country, and then going back to their private life. We've created this loop where people never leave the system. But I think what's coming out about Joe Biden isn't surprising anybody. And the people that, frankly knew and were keeping things secret, shame on them, and they should be called out for it.
Rick, you were a Republican, then you were an independent, and then you ran for mayor as a Democrat. Something tells me that, here's what I believe: the two-party system is brutal. I think it's terrible. There needs to be a third because they compete so much against each other that it completely lost sight of the constituents, the people that matter, because it's about beating the other side. It's gotten so entrenched. It's about power so much that literally the Democratic establishment decided, let's cover up and save the American people from Donald Trump. He's such a disaster. Let's lie to them and say Joe Biden is fine, win the election, and then we can decide, does he step down or whatever. But we must hold on to power because it's really the best thing for the people, which is like the most condescending, disgraceful thing you can, an attitude that's unforgivable. But don't you see, like, this is what that two-party system creates? Is it time for something different?
What I think you're saying, and first of all, I agree with you. The sense of entitlement is obscene on both parties.
Yeah.
Just obscene. And that's why you see growing numbers of people becoming independent.
Yeah.
And I think what you're going to start seeing more and more of, and I think we're going to see it in Los Angeles, we're going to see it in California, are people saying, I want somebody in the middle who's moderate, who's willing to go to both sides of the aisle, bring people together, and get things done.
Yep.
Because we cannot be slaves to a party platform and completely turn our back on those who we serve. We take a sacred duty, if you're in public office, to serve those people in public and not to serve the party. What happened in the mayor's race when I ran, it was crazy. I mean, I'd go home with the family and we would laugh about it. Like, they would fly out Joe Biden, they'd fly out Kamala Harris, they'd fly out Nancy Pelosi, Bernie, everybody. They were so scared to have an outsider in that tent because they didn't want an outsider to see what was inside that tent.
Yeah.
Because I would have exposed it. And what's inside that tent is basically a circus of keeping everybody going. And I think it's being busted up now that you see all of these truths coming out. And hopefully people are going to say, we're not having it anymore.
I think every party, I think all the primaries should be open too. So it's not just party registrants that get to vote. Absolutely. Because what we do is we get these candidates who are pretty extreme on both sides. And then the middle wakes up and goes, huh? What? Yep. I'm choosing between those two? Why? Why? Because you weren't allowed in or you didn't come on the states that do have open primaries. That's the problem. Then we get handed a choice and we all have to make a choice for the lesser evil. It's like this needs to stop. It needs to end. It does.
You got a big voice. You got a big voice. Keep going.
Hey, listen, man. You know who agrees with me? And actually, Chris Cuomo was raised a Cuomo. His father was the legendary Governor Mario Cuomo. His brother, Andrew Cuomo, a Democratic family. I was born a Bush. Last name, we have both given up part. I mean, I was a registered Republican for long. I haven't been in 9 years. I'm a registered independent. And guess who else? Maria Shriver. I don't know if I'm outing her, but had a conversation with her. She's like, no, I don't get it on my own party too. So independent-minded, let's say that. Rick, thank you so much for your time. You've got many things to do. I love that office. If that's yours, I'm coming over.
Come on over.
I'm coming over.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Mr. Governor, can't wait. Make that announcement at the end of the summer, and I'll be the first to applaud you.
All right, buddy. Thanks. See you soon, I hope.
Yeah, take care. Thank you. Oh, the great Rick Caruso. Let me tell you something. That's the kind of person you need in this country. Every city deserves a Rick Caruso. This city can't be so broken and so entrenched that you can't see a brilliant man like that who knows where all the pipes are. He'd lift up, Ross Perot used to say, man, you got to lift up the hood and fix the engine. He lifts up the hood. He knows where every part is in this city. And he's an executive. He can, that's the one. All right. We thank Rick Caruso.